Wisconsin fan extraordinaire, Kyle Wallace. Say something, Kyle. Maybe he will. There we go.
Getting over the hump today on Hump Day. Hump Day. Haven't heard
Nothing like the lame Kyle recycled joke every Wednesday.
Hump Day before?
What's worse? Like Case of the Mondays, it's Monday. Hump Day, Thirsty Thursday.
Freaky Friday.
Feel Good
Freaky Friday.
What's the worst moniker? Hump Day's got to be the worst.
Hump Day's the worst.
Hump Day's the worst.
Got to get over the hump today.
Yeah,
Come on, man. You're more creative than that.
Thirsty Thursday is fun, and Feel Good Friday makes you feel good. Hump Day.
It's Hump Day. We got to get over the hump.
We are. I don't know what y'all want me to. Wacky Wednesday?
Yeah, change it up, baby.
I don't know. I feel like I haven't used Hump Day before, but I'm sure I have. I might.
It's
been a while.
literally,
It's been
but
a while,
like
but
over
you've
the last
used it.
year and a half, Brad, at least 30 times.
Yeah. I don't know about 30, but for sure over 10. For sure
Just
over
embellish with me, damn it. Brad
Yeah,
Nortman,
don't
longtime
embellish me.
NFL punter.
I'm committed to the truth.
Honest A.
Super Bowl 50 runner-up. We can be honest about how poor he has had in winning championships.
Yes.
State championship runner-up, Rose Bowl twice runner-up, AFC championship game loser, and Super Bowl 50 runner-up Brad Nortman. Good day.
That's all of them. Good day to you, gentlemen. All I'm thinking about is who will be the Super Bowl loser. That's who I care most about next Sunday. I don't care about the winner. I care about the loser.
You want to know that everyone who lost is feeling the exact same pain that you felt.
Yes, I need to share my pain. It's the only way to deal with it.
All due respect to either Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts, I think they're feeling a little bit different than Brad Norman did.
Yeah.
Why is that? I mean,
Their
a loser
pockets
is
are a little
loser.
deeper.
Are you saying they're going to feel better?
Well,
or
no,
worse?
because I don't think, Brad, you left that Super Bowl going, yeah, that was my fault.
Yeah.
Did you just ding yourself?
That's cool.
I mean, there's truth to it, but he still felt sad.
Yeah.
You think Cam is still thinking about it like you do?
Yeah.
Let me put it this
Yeah.
way.
He'd
Jalen
be
Hurts,
a Hall of Famer.
Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Cam Newton, all of those star quarterbacks that have played in Super Bowls have enough money to not have to budget for blinds. 800-990-3776 is the Carbless Talk and Text line. See us on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee and at ESPN Madison. I am severely disappointed with Brad Nortman because, we've talked about this way too much and way too often about how cheap he is, how he's frugal, how he has the Nortman estate with the long driveways, the lodge room, the 18 rooms, the kitchen that is bigger than Kyle and I's homes put together.
Yeah, the lawn care committee led by
Handyman
the lawn guy.
Steve.
Handyman Steve was there today.
Of
He just
course.
left.
Oh,
Lexi
my
said,
goodness. I need to
cool.
call a handyman.
What happened now?
You might need Handyman Steve.
Gotta get some stuff taken care of.
Yeah, you know what sucks?
Handyman Steve's the
Homeownership.
best.
Homeownership sucks.
It sucks.
Our bathroom on the first floor, when you try to turn the knob to flush, I didn't know that it was connected to a piece that lifts up the thing that makes it flush. So now, do I buy that and I have to connect it with a piece? Like what?
Oh, you just gotta go get a new one. They're pretty cheap if you don't know.
Yeah, it didn't
install.
seem like a big problem. I was just like, of course.
Yeah, I don't do that.
another thing.
It's another
I
thing.
pay people to do that. I'm not dealing with putting my hands in that water and doing all that.
That's a quick project, though.
Cool. That's quick
You're
for somebody
worried
else.
about putting your hand in toilet water? Because
Yeah.
I'm genuinely
But that's
serious.
not toilet water.
Thank you, Brad, because I have been going number one. I just choose not to go number two down there. And I'll just stick my hand in the back of the toilet and lift the thing manually to flush it. And then I'll just go wash my hands.
That's all.
Yeah, that's not the same as putting, because that water is coming in fresh from either the city or the well.
Yeah, I just don't.
It's just like
trust.
whatever's floating around in that
Anything
top
around a toilet, I don't really trust.
Chef Ed chimes in. Kyle, that's an ugly shirt. I agree, Chef Ed.
Oh, you a lie. I got so many compliments today.
It's a bold choice.
Give us your
sexy
thoughts on
choice.
Kyle's shirt on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee and at ESPN
It's
Madison if
me
you can
paying
get there.
homage to Steve in Blue's Clues.
It's like a gender reveal.
You got a lot of
you got
Blues
pink
Clues.
and blue.
Hey, yeah. Which one am I? I'm a boy or a girl?
You tell us.
Well, look down there. I'm pretty much a man there.
Okay.
So, Brad, did you finally do something we've been asking you to do? You put up black garbage bags in your room because you don't have
Yep.
blinds, you couldn't sleep.
Guys, big moments occurring at the Nortman Estate. Lexi and I, the first wife, the first lady of the Nortman Estate.
The first wife, huh?
The first wife. She is my first wife.
First and only.
First and only important moniker there for qualification. We looked at each other and said, you know what? we've been putting off too many things on the Nortman estate. Before long, estate lists can run up, so we got to start knocking things out of the Nortman estate to-do list. So that started with, we got some countertops in, we're starting to change things over. One of the things is, we got to finally get blinds, okay? We finally said, enough's enough. So we waited until a budget site was 50% off.
Oh, wow.
So we found a place that was 50% off. You measure it yourself.
Oh, no.
You plug in the measurements, and then you go ahead and order them.
Oh, no. This is a disaster waiting to happen.
So 2 nights ago, Lexi and I are in bed, and we're like, okay, we just got to finally order it because it was the last day of the sale. 50% off. Now's the time to do it. And so I go measure all the different windows. There's like 8 different windows we're getting blinds for, right? And so, order.
Whoa, there's no way that's the whole estate.
Those are the only ones we've decided need blinds.
Oh, my God.
There's plenty of other.
It was 50% off. Do it now.
If I were to get shades for the whole Nortman estate, it'd be 200 windows. It'd be crazy.
God,
not
we
possible.
got 200 windows.
That's
He ain't got 200 windows. Don't want to fool you.
I'm kidding. But
Or is he?
So we get them for multiple bedrooms. You get them for the playroom for the kids in the future. Get them for a couple things like that, and then we get to the master bedroom, right? And so we start plugging them in. And we want a specific type. We got Roman shades for all those, which are great, but we wanted sleek, modern shades. Very cool shades for the Nortman estate, for the master bedroom. And we plug them in, and the window's too big. They said the window's too big. You can't possibly put these modern, long roller shades in there. The window's too big. So I said, oh, hell, what are we supposed to do now? So we pushed it off. We said, okay, we got shades for all the rest of them. But for the master bedroom, we need to go back to the drawing board because the windows were just too big.
I want to applaud you for getting blinds, but the master bedroom is the place where you need how do they live? I walk around butt naked all the time in my room. How do you survive?
So we have some temporary curtains we put up on the big window, the ultra big window.
And it's not black garbage bags.
And we have one, so that in our master bedroom, if you want to picture the master bedroom of Brad and Lexi Nortman, you've got the huge window.
It's the window the size of the window behind you here on the stream.
Yeah, it's about that
on
big.
ESPN
it's about
Milwaukee.
that big.
Damn, that's a big ass window.
I mean, not quite that big, but almost. But it's actually not that big of a difference.
Oh my gosh, in your room? What are y'all looking at?
It's probably from like that to like.
Can you give us an example for the radio audience?
Oh, yeah. I've heard people are listening to us. It's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know, 7,
It's
8
basically
feet.
10 yards. It's basically trying to get a first down. First and 5, first and 7.
I measured
First and 7. Jeez Louise.
I would say it's
holding penalty on a first down run.
Yeah,
a couple yards past the first down, and got brought back.
If it's a third down, it's a passing situation. Okay, that's the best way I can put it. It's a passing situation. So that one, we put this massive temporary curtain on it, but then we have another small standard size window on the other side of the room that there is still one lone trash bag up. So one trash bag has survived. All the rest have been tossed, and blinds are on the way, except for in the master bedroom where it's probably most important. But it's back to the drawing board. I don't know what we're going to do. We can't find blinds that are big enough that can match the size of our window. It's a struggle. It's a struggle, boys.
It's not a struggle. You just are being cheap.
When
But
you say
we got 50% off, it was pretty good.
If you play in the NFL for 6 years, are you allowed to say you're living in a struggle and being as frugal and financially responsible as a financial advisor would post-career? Because I think the word struggle, I use an example of one that comes to mind of maybe somebody who's an MVP for the Milwaukee Bucks. I think he went through a struggle.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going through a struggle right now.
Giannis's struggle and my struggle are sort of like the same. It's the same struggle marching to a different beat. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Brad, this is shameful. Again, I want to say congratulations on the blinds, but you didn't finish the job. Finish the job,
I can't get credit for doing 80%?
No! You missed the most important room, your castle, your kingdom, the place that your queen lays her head. She has to look at trash bags. She has to look at temporary blinds because you were being too cheap. You should have just said, you know what? We save 50% off online.
Let's use that to make our master bedroom at the estate look really, really good.
Can I get credit for going all in, but getting 50% off?
You didn't go all in.
That's pretty great.
You did not go all in. Brad.
Almost all in.
No, exactly.
It's like
almost ain't good enough.
Almost all in is not all in.
Kyle, it's like when you went into Lake Michigan. It was almost all in. It was like to the shoulders.
That's actually a really good point.
That's.
I was going to say it's like when Strofe and I are at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, and I say I'm going all in, and Strofe looks over at my roulette machine, and he sees, yes, there is no more to bet if Ben loses this spin. Fair, Strofe?
Yeah, you've done that a time or two.
That would be all in. So we're almost there, boys. It's a small trash bag left. Do I get some credit for that?
No, just stop asking the question. The answer is no.
I feel pretty good about it,
I think you get 20% credit.
20%, even though I blinded out 80%?
I'll give him 30% credit because there's still lots of rooms without blinds. He had to get the 50% off, and they didn't even take care of his master bedroom. It feels like an incomplete
he missed
or an
the
F.
most important room.
Yeah.
But it wasn't for lack of trying.
No.
We ran into a struggle that we are now experiencing true hardship.
Brad, they have custom blinds. And here's the thing that
How's the market, Brad?
How's what's market?
The stock market is doing.
It's ripping, baby. It's
yeah,
good.
it's ripping.
It's good. The Norman portfolio is healthy.
Well,
hypocrite.
I'm very confused though too, Brad. Because for you, I usually thought you were a planner, a strategizer.
Yeah.
I know you're not a bad handyman, but I know you're capable. But you really trust your own measurements? Why don't you have somebody come out and measure? You get the measurements and then you input those. You measured yourself? Do you know how to do that correctly?
No.
Yeah. No, it's.
What do you mean?
It's
You
length
did it
and
wrong.
width.
But
And
sometimes it's
explain it to
inside,
you.
outside.
Yeah. Inside.
Huh?
Doing inside. I know how to measure
Doing
it.
inside.
I'm
If
doing-
you're saying we're doing inside, trust me, I don't think that's the lingo.
I will say too, the elder statesman of the Nortman family, Bill Nortman, came and helped me just to make sure I didn't do it wrong.
Okay,
there
it is.
But here's one thing:
You solicited
it's like,
some help.
It's like you're playing chess with these people because you call them up and you say, "Okay, it's going to be 80 inches across." That's the measurement, and then they say, "Okay, that sounds good." We take off 1/4 of an inch on both sides. I'm like, "Wait, why?" And they say, "Well, we don't want you to get it and not to fit." But I'm like, "But I want the light rays not to go through. I want this blackout." I'm like, "But that's what we do." So I'm like, okay.
Well, that's what happens when you go get 50% from a blinds company. I'm done with you.
So
I'm done
they
with
take
you.
off a 1/2 inch. I add back on a 1/4 inch.
All right.
Only an 8
This is going to be a disaster.
Nah,
it's going to look janky.
I
It's gonna look janky.
refuse to even bring up blinds ever again on this show
No,
because he told us today that he got blinds and he actually didn't get blinds, so he lied to
I want
us.
to make a special announcement when we finally get blinds for the master bedroom. It's the last frontier.
But how are
it's
you
the
cheaper
last
than me?
frontier of the Norman estate.
I'm gonna go spy on them. I'm gonna go get like a scope.
You won't be able to see through the trash bags.
That's true.
I'll put in a special light, a nice bright light.
Yeah, the last frontier. We're going to get there, boys.
I tell you what. So on Monday, Jason Wilde joined Kyle Bruston-Nortman for his one of two appearances on our show. He had some interesting takes as to how the Packers could find success in the playoffs, and we continue to have these conversations about how close they are to winning a Super Bowl. Mark Tauscher joined us yesterday. Big Goot Stan. Today on Wilde and Tausch, Mark Tauscher has done it. He has made me mad. He is cherry picking. He is the biggest Packers toad I have ever heard in my entire life. I'll tell you why Tausch doesn't know ball. Next.
This is Kyle Bruston-Nortman.
I was like, it's the 4-1-4 hour at 4.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like the kid who got picked on the sports team. I was like, "Oh, you want me? No way!" Because all last week, it was so much fun to do that, and I was like, "Well, but I guess it's back to Kyle doing it now." When you said, "Want to do it with me?" I was like, "Oh yeah, let's do it."
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. It doesn't matter if it's your first betting slip ever or just the first one of the week. We've got your Potawatomi sportsbook picks covered. Tune in Wednesdays to the Weekly Wager with Greg Matzik, Ben Brust, and Jen Latta.
If someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything, you take it.
The Weekly Wager, Wednesday nights at 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel.
This is Kevin Moret from Mentality. Every day is a silent competition, and with testosterone dropping 1% annually, you're fighting an uphill battle. Your colleagues notice when you lose your edge, your partner senses when your confidence wavers, and without addressing low T, you're set up to fail. No willpower can overcome this hormonal deficit. Mentality's FDA-approved treatments have shown a 30% increase in testosterone levels. Don't let low T define you. Reclaim your power at mentalityhealth.com/radio. That's mentalityhealth.com/radio.
Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is hosting another Scramble tournament with $750 in cash prizes available. Hey ESPN Milwaukee, this is Gary Ellison, and Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center invites you to play in a 2-man scramble at Pebble Beach, all from their comfortable golf simulators. Grab a friend and sign up today at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com. The tournament costs $120 per pairing and is happening now through January 31st. Your winter chance to play Pebble Beach awaits. WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Kyle Walls for Universal Windows Direct. Universal Windows Direct is offering an amazing deal right now. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free. That's right. For every 2 windows you buy, you'll get 2 more absolutely free with no limit and 36 months of no interest financing. Plus, if you've already received a quote from another company, bring it to Universal Windows Direct and they'll beat it. Schedule your free in-home estimate today or visit universalwindowsdirect.com, and like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
It's a key ingredient called Tesnor. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. Total T is backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text ALL to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text ALL to 42424. That's ALL to 42424. Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
With your Saganiac Planning Marquette recap, I'm Chris Larson. Number 9 Marquette rallied from a 7-point halftime deficit to defeat Butler 78-69 at Hinkle Fieldhouse. Senior guard Stevie Mitchell scored a career-high 22 points on 9 of 14 shooting. He now has back-to-back 20-point games for the first time in his career.
Stolen by Stevie Mitchell. He'll come the other way 3-on-3. Stevie Mitchell all the way to the basket. Hangs, shoots, and scores. He did it all.
The Golden Eagles record moves to 18-3 overall, tied for first in the Big East at 9-1. They welcome number 25 UConn to Fiserv Forum Saturday night on National Marquette Day.
Help protect your team with slam dunk coverage. Saganiac Planning can coach you on ways to save money on medical and specialty plans through United Healthcare, one of the largest provider networks in Wisconsin. Call John Saganiac Jr., 262-783-6161, 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. Insurance coverage provided by or through United Healthcare Insurance Company or its affiliates. Administrative services provided by United Healthcare Services, Inc. or its affiliates. Health plan coverage provided by or through United Healthcare Wisconsin, Inc.
You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Hanging out with you, KBN Nation, on this Wednesday. Ben Brust, Kyle Wallace, Brad Nortman with Strophe running the show. 800-990-3776 is the Carbless Talk and Text line. See us on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee and at ESPN Madison. This morning on Wilde and Tausch, 9 to noon across these very stations. To no one's surprise, Tausch does what Tausch does. Finds every reason to find the positive, which I think is a good thing, but he's going too far now.
Ribbit.
We are all going too far with what I'm about to hear with all of you from Wilde and Tausch earlier this morning. Strofe, all you.
The good news as a Packer fan and why somebody, how far away are they? They got a long window. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, cute. Our defense made big strides.
No doubt.
Our defense was good enough this season to win. Our offense didn't get it done when the money was on the table.
I cannot sit here and listen to Tausch say that and then use the evidence in front of me outside of a playoff game to be like, you know what? Yeah, the defense was good enough to get us to a Super Bowl. Do we forget in week 1, they gave up 34 points to the Philadelphia Eagles? Do we forget in week 5, they gave up 31 to the Minnesota Vikings? 24 against the Lions. Sure, we'll give them a little bit of a break there, but at the same time, there was plenty of snow and bad weather on the ground. Then you go to Ford Field. 34 you give up to the Lions, and then you play the Vikings again, and you give up 27. Did the defense take strides? Abso-freaking-lutely. But how am I supposed to use the sample size that we all saw in the 5 games in the regular season in which they lost to teams with a better record than them, and then say, oh, because the 22-12 game, the defense played well against the Eagles, that this defense was good enough to win a Super Bowl? We're all talking and wishing for a pass rusher right now because we know the defense has made strides, but isn't good enough. Were they good enough in that game against Philadelphia? Yes. But the narrative that the defense this past season, this is blasphemy.
Ben, I'm right there with you. Look, this defense did improve. It's better than it was last year, and it's a quality defense. It's good. But we can't say this is a championship defense. We can't say this is an absolutely great defense. Huge holes on the defensive line. Secondary without Jair. Even the linebackers, very hit or miss, particularly without Edger and Cooper. Because you're right, Ben. I had all these games written down to where they got thrashed against the good opponents of the NFC in the regular season. That doesn't include the Jaguars. Remember the Jaguar game?
Yeah, and I guess my point was, if we're going to compare to the playoffs, I wanted to compare to the playoff teams that they lost to and say, yes, did they have a good performance? But as we have talked about, and as we've seen week by week, the level of competition gets higher. The points scored continue to get higher, actually, throughout the playoffs. And so, yes, was it a great performance? Did they keep them in the game? Yes, we can give them their flowers. Was the offense bad? Yes, but by no means necessary. Can I sit here and lie to the audience and say that I believe what Tausch is saying, that the defense is right there, and this year they did enough and they could have done enough? No.
Well, and real quick, and you're putting it on the offense. I think the offense, the defense, the coaching, the personnel, everything is aligned with exactly how they ended the season. They were a wild card team. They had double-digit wins. They lost in the first round to a team that's going to the Super Bowl. It just seems like everything lines up to everything is good, not great. Now, most franchises would be excited about that, but the defense was good, not great. The offense, most of the season, good, not great. Coaching, good, not great. Personnel, good, not great. So to say, oh, this defense is championship level, this is not the Philly defense. This is not the Baltimore Ravens defense in 2000. This is not a defense where you say, oh boy, am I scared about them. They're quality. They're good. They're not going to carry you all the way to a championship. And they both need to do their part to get better if they do want to be championship level next year.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a sham here by Tausch. And how much I do love me some Tausch. And I like that Jason Willey's also on that Green Bay Packers defense train. I enjoy that. But by saying that, he's basically saying that the Packers defense can carry the offense to a championship. And we know that isn't true, right? And he's allowing what we saw in the playoffs to dictate how he feels about the entire body of work. We know the pass rush wasn't there. The forced turnovers weren't there. When I look at the Philadelphia Eagles, what have they done? Their defense against the Green Bay Packers, special teams, carried them through that game. The game against the second game when they played against the Rams, their defense forced some turnovers and big moments for them. They carried that team. And even against the Commanders, they forced some turnovers and forced some stops. And that helped carry them in that game. That's what a defense does. A defense puts the offense in as many positions to have great chances to score. The Packers defense has not been able to do that throughout the playoffs. And the thing that I don't like about this, and I do agree, the Packers defense is taking steps in the right directions. But when you look at the Packers' last 4 playoff games, you would think that the Packers defense wasn't terrible.
For sure. I mean, they put up some good performances.
You think about it, they only allowed 22 points against the Eagles, so that was enough to win. Against the Cowboys, we know what that game was. The Packers defense did a good job early on. The 32 points they scored, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's how the Packers that's how we as Packer fans looked at them coming back against the Vikings.
24 points held against the 49ers last year. Oh, the defense did a good job. 10 points, and they didn't even allow a touchdown against the 49ers. Man, that defense was championship count. Hell no, that's false. That's a shame. It's not true. It's just not true. The defense could not carry the offense. The defense did not do enough because the defense didn't have the body of work through the season, because the defense was going to need to have a pass rush at some point. The defense is going to need to get more turnovers in a big moment at some point. And we can't trust this defense to get stops when it truly matters. So, no.
800
is not good enough.
990-3776 in the Carbless Talking text line. Are you with us or Tausch? Tausch saying this defense was good enough to take him to a Super Bowl. Because another thing that I want to get to here is Jason Wilde. Jason Wilde joined us on Monday. Jason Wilde joined Homer on the Homer Hour with John Anderson yesterday. And Jason is now talking about, as we've been trying to figure out what the gap is from the Packers to other Super Bowl teams. And he says, the biggest thing that I've been noticing is the teams that are winning, they're not beating themselves. They're playing mistake-free football. Guess what? It's easier said than done. You know how you prove that you can play play mistake-free football is you do it consistently in the regular season, and then you have a higher probability when the lights are shining brighter in the playoffs that you do play mistake-free football. Like the Chiefs, they're not beating themselves. The Eagles recipe, they're not beating themselves. And what do we talk about all season long? Drops, penalties, interceptions early. Like the Packers had given us enough reason to say, yeah, they're not going to win a Super Bowl because they are going to beat themselves. And the offense didn't show up. So, like, I'm just confused as to why we're trying to figure out. Maybe they can still be close. We can still talk about how they just need some pieces. I'm just very confused as to why the conversation post-Eagles game was Matt LaFleur this, Tucker Kraft saying that the team, needs to wake up and they can feel what was brewing. And now we're like, oh, everything's good after that, right? Like
I think everything isn't good, but you don't like the way the season finished. But when you kind of get your emotions away from it, because obviously the day after the game, the week after the game, fans are still disappointed. We're disheartened. We feel like we left stuff on the field. But I guarantee you, the way Tucker Kraft feels today versus how he felt a couple of days after the game is different.
I'm sure it is. But we're also hearing Wilde and Tausch talk about this defense in a different way than I think we all would have expected just based off one playoff game against the Super Bowl now, NFC champion representative Eagles.
Well, and the ultimate litmus test to do you think your defense was championship caliber was, do you think we should just run it back? If you think we should just run it back and say, you know what, as long as we just bring back everybody who was the year before, then we're going to be all good. And nobody feels like that. We look at multiple levels of both the D-line, the linebackers, and the secondary and think, you know what, the Packers can improve there. If I'm the Philadelphia Eagles, I look at that defense and say, listen, all we got to do is run it back. Let's just bring everybody back. We don't need to make any crazy changes. We're rolling. I don't feel like that about the Packers. I don't think Tausch or Jason would feel that way about the Packers either. If you felt like all we got to do is run it back with the same personnel, then you feel like you have a championship caliber defense. But nobody feels that way about this defense. They're good, not great. And that showed up in many games throughout the season when you played against marquee opponents.
Alex Strofe has a little angry Packer backer face right now. What we got going on in that brain?
It's not angry because I don't disagree with that part that Brad just laid out, right? Like, yes, the pass rush wasn't elite. Nobody's going to disagree with that. Could they use an improvement at corner without, having Jair Alexander likely on the roster next year? Of course. But I'm Team Tausch here.
Of course you are. You're a toad.
I'm not, but it's not.
Press the button. Press the button.
It's not a toad.
Press the button.
Are you going to bully me into a Kyle?
No, I'm just saying. You did it for me. You did it for Tausch. You got to do it for yourself.
Read it.
Yeah, that's you. There's Trophy talking.
No, I think the point is Ben started this argument by laying out the scores of the regular season in which the Packers lost. But the thing that was ignored throughout those scores is that in the Chicago game where they allowed 24, 7 of those were special teams. 7 more of those were a fumble where they only needed 21 yards.
I didn't mention the Chicago game.
Well, you laid out every game they lost, right?
No, I laid out the games they lost to the teams that had better records than them, which would be a good indicative of what they're going to do in the playoffs. And having one good game in the playoffs does not take away and give me confidence that this team could carry them to the Super Bowl based off one performance.
Let's not fail to acknowledge, though, right? 31 to the Vikings in September was a game in which Jordan Love threw 3 interceptions in the first half and allowed the opposing offense 10 yards to score or a pick 6.
That's great.
Detroit.
Elite offenses still would have been able to find a way to hold them to more elite defenses would have held them to more field goals. That's the difference to me.
You can't really hold the team to a field goal when you're throwing pick 6s,
Wait a minute.
Which you threw 2 of this year in losses.
Wait a minute.
So I think this falls much more on Jordan Love and the offense's shoulders than it does the defense.
No one's saying that that's not the case. The offense was not good enough against Philly, but it's not fair to say that this defense was good enough to get them to the Super Bowl based off the body of work that they had in the regular season and one game in the playoffs.
Is this a championship?
Top 5 in scoring.
Is this a championship defense?
No.
However you define that.
But they're close.
That's great. That's
They're
all
really
I'm saying
close.
is they weren't a championship defense
they're
this
closer
year.
than the offenses.
Oh.
Nah.
That's something.
Nah. They're not closer than the offense is.
What did the offense show you this year that makes you go, wow, that's a championship offense? Josh Jacobs?
The offense was consistent for the most.
That's it.
Again, throughout this season, the offense, though they had some down first halves, overall, I think they were more consistent than the defense.
So you trust
Baloney.
You trust
Really?
Hafley, the D rush and D line. I'll include McKinney and all those guys against.
I think
LaFleur
the
and
defense
Love
on
and
paper
Josh
right now is
Jacobs.
closer. Yes.
Wow.
Love
I
needs
would
to
disagree.
in terms of what we saw this year. Love was completely inconsistent.
He was.
The first half of the season, he turned the ball over, made erratic decisions. I still think he's going to be a really good quarterback in this league, and that's not to say he can't make a vast improvement from what he was this year. But the defense was so much improved from a year ago with Joe Barry this year. Now, again, that's not me saying there's no issues. They need to improve the pass rush. That was a disaster this year. They need to fill in some cornerbacks, right? Jair's likely not on this roster. Your defense isn't very good if Keyshawn Nix is your best corner. That's just how it is. But out of what we saw this year, I like what we saw out of the defense better than the offense.
800-990-3776. The debate can roll on, Kyle. The debate can roll on. I see you got a lot of thoughts brewing.
Yeah.
800-990-3776 is the Carbless Talking text line. It's Kyle Brusson-Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. Tausch made a pretty good, strong statement that he believes in this defense and what they showed against Philly and what they could have continued to do in the playoffs. I disagree with it. Want to hear your thoughts. 800-990-3776. We'll hear from Tausch again and get into this conversation because you brought up a great question, right? At the end of the day, you're saying you trust the defense and that they're closer than the offense. I don't know if many people will agree with that. And I see why you make that argument. But 1 year with Hafley versus 2 years with sample size with LaFleur and Love, that's where the debate gets a little iffy because you can still use data points from 2023 if you would like. We'll hit this. Coming up next.
This is Kyle Bruston-Nortman.
The comments were so mean, but they also were kind of funny.
Wait, I didn't see the comments.
They said popcorn back in middle school must have been tough.
Please don't pick me.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Homer here. I'm inviting you to join me starting August the 9th, as we explore the many shades of Ireland with Colette Vacations. A 10-day journey filled with legendary views, historic expeditions, and unforgettable tales. Explore the historic city of Dublin, kiss the famous Blarney Stone, and stand on the spectacular cliffs of Moher. We'll also journey Ireland's breathtaking countryside and follow the stunning coastal route of the Ring of Kerry. We'll experience the daily life of an Irish family with a dairy farm visit, and even enjoy a taste or two at a historic whiskey distillery. Plus, there's a stay overnight in a medieval castle. Join me for all of these experiences and many more. Visit ESPNMilwaukeeTravel.com for trip information or come to Maddie's Barn Grill in New Berlin on February the 2nd to meet me and the Colette team. Colette handles all the details of the 10-day excursion, the flights, the meals, the hotels, the experiences. Your only job is to have the time of your life. Don't miss out. Learn all about it on February 2nd at 5 p.m. in New Berlin at Maddie's Barn Grill.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my friends at Bank 5-9. Everywhere I go throughout the area, I see Bank 5-9, and it's no wonder why. Not only do they have 14 branch locations, but their employees spend nearly 9,000 hours each year volunteering in the communities that they serve. That's on top of the financial support that they provide to several hundred nonprofits right here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check them out today at bank59.com. Member FDIC.
It's time for the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Wintrust. Get your Golden Eagles essentials by opening Marquette checking from Wintrust today.
Number 9 Marquette rallied from a 7-point halftime deficit to defeat Butler 78-69 at Hinkle Fieldhouse. Senior guard Stevie Mitchell scored a career-high 22 points on 9 of 14 shooting. He now has back-to-back 20-point games for the first time in his career.
On the right, stolen by Stevie Mitchell. He'll come the other way 3-on-3. Stevie Mitchell all the way to the basket. Hangs, shoots, and scores. He did it all, and Marquette with an 8.
Despite missing most of the second half in foul trouble, senior guard Cam Jones still scored 17 points to move into 4th place on the all-time scoring list, passing George Thompson. MU improved to 18-3 overall, 9-1 in Big East play, tied with St. John's. They return to action on Saturday when the team hosts number 25 UConn at Fiserv Forum on National Marquette Day.
This has been the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Wintrust, Wisconsin's bank, and the official bank of Marquette University.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Stop by Maddie's Bar and Grill this Thursday as Kyle, Bruss, and Nortman will broadcast live starting at 2, compliments of Michelob Ultra. Sven Brust here. Come in for a late lunch or an early happy hour to see me, Kyle, and Brad at Maddie's. Also enjoy Michelob Ultra at Kelly's Bleachers, Big Bend, Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill, Brewski Sports Pub and Barbecue, and Par Tea Time Golf and Sports Bar. We'll see you Thursday at Maddie's in New Berlin for a live KBN broadcast from 2 to 5 on 94.5 ESPN, brought to you by Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Let's go crazy, crazy, crazy till we see the sun.
I do want to replay some audio from Mark Tauscher on Willie and Tausch earlier from 9 to noon across these very stations. But before we do that, I got to check my wallet to see if I have any cash to bet at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, and it's empty. I have no cash.
You're joking.
I wanted to hold on to Alex Strouf's wallet till 4:30.
He's just a puppy, though.
To do this in Best Bets. And that's exactly what I was going to say. He looks like a lost puppy the last 45 minutes that I knew we wouldn't be able to do a show.
Hold on. Before we get to this, I will get to the fact you've had my wallet and I'm irritated. Can you please just let me know if our office administrator's in on this?
No.
Okay, because she is called security for the building.
Let me tell you something about security in this building. They're useless.
They ain't going to do anything.
Useless.
Okay, we'll put it on our radar.
So we have a Walgreens in our building, and I ran there to get a drink earlier, and I was like, did I leave it there? Did I drop it on the way back? You've had it the whole time.
The entire time.
You stressed. You worried. He's been so worried.
I've been so worried about. I've been worried about him.
I felt horrible.
I got to call off the dogs. Did you know this?
Yeah.
You're a jerk. Did you know this?
Of course I
You're
knew.
a jerk. I already knew you were a jerk. This is not surprising.
It's just your
you.
wallet.
It's just a wallet, bro.
No
harm
Give it to me.
done.
Let me see it. You have nothing in. You have
There's no money.
a North and South Seafood
great partner.
Smokehouse card.
Great Q&A there last night with Kelly Sheffield.
You got a picture of your girlfriend with a dog, and you have your ID. Like, bro, everything in here is replaceable.
It's replaceable.
There's no money in here. Nothing of value is in here, man.
Yeah, but do you know the hassle of ordering a new ID, a new credit card, a new
But
debit
you
card,
weren't
a new
going to
health
have
insurance
to.
Card?
Yeah, but
Life insurance card. Who carries that around?
you carry your life insurance?
He's still
Like the
defeated
card you
right
pay
now.
For medicine. And
Oh, yeah.
You still look
health
like
insurance.
you are.
Health insurance.
I've known deep down that it was going to pop up. But I literally just sent the text in the break. I was like, this is going to get to a point where I have to rifle through a trash can. And that's as low as it gets.
when you had said I threw the Walgreens bag in the trash, I looked at Brad and I was like, I might need to end this.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be like a first segment.
Where was it?
It was literally right under this chair.
Okay, because so sometimes
this is the second time that I've picked up your wallet, and this
Sometimes
time
it falls out of
this
my
was
back
me
pocket.
telling you that you need to be more responsible with your things.
Are you going to change?
This
the
is a
location
lesson
of it now. No longer in your back pocket. No, maybe front pocket. A little more secure.
It's probably bad for your posture too.
Yeah.
How do y'all do that? You got to have a bony booty to do that.
But front pocket, I've got a phone. I've got keys. I've got nicotine pouches. Like I've got so much in my front pockets already.
Maybe one of those.
Maybe you should get a new wallet because that thing looks like my dad's from
Should I do
1995.
What do you guys have? Like a money clip?
Nah,
I've got a wallet.
I keep her thick like you.
Yeah, mine's pretty thick
do.
too.
Oh, you guys are all
So you're
lame.
the judgmental one.
Yeah, I got money in here too. I've been distraught.
You're really rude. I hope
No,
you know
I'm
that.
teaching you a lesson to not lose your wallet.
No,
That's how you want to spin it?
Yeah, it's not a spin. I'm so sick of picking up after you.
You do need to be a little bit more responsible. I'm one to talk because I'm currently lost some of my diamonds, my jewelry around this mug.
You did?
Excuse me?
Yeah, it fell out my pocket. I don't know what happened to it. It might be in the car. Oh, like last Tuesday. early in the morning.
Painful.
So I'm with Struff. I know how he feels.
So,
but
Struff, go ahead
it's big
and
baby.
send a message to the
Call
team
it off the
administrator.
dogs. Yeah.
Call off the dogs. Wallet is found. Man, see, this is my point.
It should be a thank you to you.
I asked him before the show started 2 o'clock. I said, "Are you going to be good, or are you going to be thinking about this wallet the entire show?" And you said, "No, I'm going to be good." And now, 30 minutes later, I'm finding out that you sent the whole security team at the office building to look for your wallet
during our show. Well, he's supposed to be focused in producing
I
our
sent
show.
one text. I was like, "Hey, just let me know if my wallet is found upstairs." That was all.
Was it during the break or was it during our show?
The entire first segment, he was rethinking where he's been. I know that face.
Yeah. And then I went through the process of, okay, I better freeze my cards just in case somebody gets it. So I froze my credit card and my debit card.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Well,
You need to
I
stop spending.
paused it.
Oh, yeah. You need to stop spending. Going broke.
Yeah, I actually would have done him a favor if he canceled his debit credit and he had no cash. Frozen pizza and mac and cheese tonight.
How'd you know that wasn't already on the menu?
Because apparently you've been more domesticated
Are
recently.
you more relieved or angry?
Relieved. Fully relieved. Thanks,
That's
Ben.
good.
You know what? This is a good lesson. I'll learn from this. I will grow from this. I'm still a young pup, just getting going in this world. You guys are like older brothers of sorts. So this is a good lesson. It wasn't physical, right? Like your older brother, Ben, you had older brothers growing up.
They put me in the scissors cut, they called it.
Right.
Both legs crossed me in between the legs and I couldn't get out.
Yeah, the Bret Hart sharpshooter, I think was his finisher in the WWF.
Was a sharpshooter.
Yeah, I got some of those growing up. This is better than a noogie or a swirly. This is like a real life lesson that I can grow and learn from. So thank you for that.
You are welcome. Let's hear from Mark Tauscher earlier on Wildy and Tausch as we have a caller who wants to chime in as well as a couple texters. Because, Strofe, you added a wrinkle into this conversation. We have a poll up there on Twitter at KBN ESPN. We'll get to the poll. We'll get to the reaction. But first, here's what Tausch had to say about the defense at the end of the year.
The good news as a Packer fan and why somebody, how far away are they? They got a long window. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, cute.
Blah, 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 blah.
Our defense made big strides.
No doubt.
Our defense was good enough this season to win. Our offense didn't get it done when the money was on the table.
Now maybe I've taken a little bit far. He just said to win.
Good enough to win.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That was his way of saying they were good enough to win playoff game X, which was the Eagles. But I took that as he's given that like a little bit more credence to they were good enough all year. They showed us all year they were good enough to win big games. 5 big games in the regular season, they gave them an average of 29.5 points per game.
Yeah.
And that's 24 given up in a snow game at Lambeau Field against the Lions. So that being said, which is more championship caliber, the offense or the defense? That's on Twitter at KBN ESPN. We'll go to the Carpless Talk and Text line with Brian and Madison. Where are you at with this, Brian?
Tausch is 110% right. It was good enough to win that game that Eagles just set all the records last game, and we shut them down besides 3 plays. If Jordan Love played okay, we would have won that game. We don't have Charles Woodson. We don't have Clay Matthews. That defense played more than enough to win that game. That was on Jay Love and Matt LaFleur.
How much do we bring into the equation that Jalen Hurts
hadn't played for 3 weeks?
For a month, and he was clearly rusty. I think that's something. Look, this defense. Tausch said they made big strides. That's true. They were good enough to win certain games. That's true. But I can't get behind that they're closer to championship caliber than the offense. I think that Philadelphia offense was a bit out of sorts with Jalen Hurts being out for so long. And Saquon, they actually did a pretty good job of bottling up Saquon, but I'm not sure that was Philadelphia's best shot. Was the offense worse than the defense on that day? Yes, they were. The defense was better than the offense against the Philadelphia Eagles. But if we're going to take this as a whole and think about personnel, think about ceiling, think about coaching, think about what do we really hang our hat on, I don't know how you can't choose the offense.
Well, I can tell you right now on Twitter at KBN ESPN, which Packers unit is closer to championship level, the offense or the defense? 63% of votes right now are offense. Excuse me, our defense. 37% are offense.
Yeah, I think we're short-sighted. I understand it's the offense.
Little prisoner of the moment, some palms.
Yeah, the offense didn't play great in the last 2 games of the season, but we have to remember that offense ripped off multiple games of 30-plus games. This offense, for the most part, in this year, it was a high-scoring offense. It was a high-powered offense. Now, was it a championship-caliber offense? Probably not, but you're talking about a team that did well, scored well, so I just don't understand how we are prisoners of the moment to think that this defense could carry us to a championship. That's just not factual whatsoever. And even hearing Strofe say before the break is that basically if you think the defense could have carried this offense to a championship, that means it's 2 minutes left in the game. You're up by 4 or you're up by 3, and you want the defense on the field. That's what you're saying. You're saying you trust this Green Bay Packer defense to get off the field. And that's a joke because we ain't seen that. Everybody knows if you got asked a scenario, would you rather be up 3 or up 2 with 2 minutes left in the team driving, or would you rather be down 2 with the Packers offense on the field to drive it? You probably want the Packers offense on the field because you feel more confident in the fact that they're going to get the job done and at least get you a field goal.
And that's the thing that maybe Ben is even bringing up is in those moments where it really matters, whether it be playing top competition, again, more than just the wild card game, playing top competition or the gotta have a stop moment. They usually don't perform at a championship level in those moments, which is why I would agree with you, Kyle. I would prefer the offense to be on the field in the gotta have it moment.
Even going back to the Chicago Bears game, the offense put us in a position to win that football game. Matt LaFleur ruined it. And our defense got out there, and I think it was play calling that put them in a bad position. But overall, the defense still allowed some points in the end in that game, right? They still could not get off the field against the Chicago Bears in the last game of the season. So for me, I'm not ready to trust this defense, but I do feel good about the trajectory and the direction that the defense is going. I will say that.
Josh and Kenosha, 800-990-ESPN on the Carbless Talk and text line. Which is more championship caliber right now, the offense or defense?
Based on this year, I would go defense. And that might surprise people, but in the playoff game, they stepped up and did what they had to do. Say what you want about the regular season. Compare this year's team to the 2010 team statistically and see if that's good enough to win a championship. The offense let you down. LaFleur and Love absolutely choked. And to Strofe, try some cargo pants, man. Side pockets are great for wallets.
There it is. Attaboy, Josh. A little bit of advice to not lose your wallet again.
You think I could rock cargo pants?
No, not at all.
Okay, thank you for that.
Not a cargo pants guy.
Appreciate
but it would be handy for you to not lose your wallet. Brad, tell us how you've been winning money finally and what code to use.
Oh, I will tell you because KBN Nation, you're going to want to know this for 2 reasons. One, boy, these sports games are getting so much more entertaining with the Sleeper Picks app. And not only that, you want to win a little extra money like I've been winning a little bit extra money. You're going to want to download the Sleeper Picks app and enjoy taking all those opportunities to win money. Here's how you do it. Download the Sleeper app today and you just pick more or less on at least 2 different players and their projected stats. If you're right, you can win up to 100 times your money. I've been loving doing this with the Bucs games, all these NFL games. The big game is coming up in a week and a half on Sunday, and you know I'm going to be putting in several different ones because I feel like I know where this is going to go, and I want that opportunity to make real money on my selections. Here's how you do it with Sleeper Picks. For a limited time, Sleeper has a special offer. New users have to just do one $5 play. That's it, one $5 play, and you're going to receive $55 in free entries. Where else can you get that kind of deal so that you can keep the selections going and opportunities to win more money, and you're enjoying it all along the way? Here's how you do it. Download the Sleeper app today and use code BRAD, B-R-A-D. You know that's my name. And when you do that, you'll get $55 in free entries when you play just $5. That's code BRAD with the Sleeper app. Enjoy Sleeper app as I've been. Must be 18 years or older. Promo code locations and other restrictions apply. Minimum deposit $25. See terms of use for details. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-426-2537 for help.
Day 3 of Ben Bruss' wish list for Goody and the Green Bay Packers to help make this a championship caliber team coming up next.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN.
Do you wash your shins in the shower? We shower from hair to kneecap. The rest can drip down our legs to our feet.
It doesn't work that way.
No, it does work that way.
What does the poll say?
34% don't wash their shins.
That is shockingly low. KBN Nation, you're better than that.
Yeah, it sounds like we have a lot of disgusting human beings on this planet.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. the best source for every piece of NFL news you need to know.
That's the idea of a deal. Each side gets wins, right? They have Jordan Love under contract for the next 5 years.
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter is on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy every Wednesday morning at 7:30. Sponsored by Island Resort and Casino.
I think Packers fans would sign up for 12-5 today, and maybe they will be.
Right here on 94.5 ESPN, and also streaming live on the Wisconsin On Demand app and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. UW Credit Union presents the Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org. Here's Ashton Rotman with the UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
This week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week is senior Jake Hansen from Wauwatosa West. A starting guard on the Trojans basketball squad, Hansen now sits alone at the top of the record books for Tosa West. His 18 points in a recent game, making him the #1 all-time leading scorer in Tosa West history. While the Trojans remain embattled in a race for the top of the Greater Metro Conference title race, Hansen, of course, is a big piece to making that happen. As for what's next for the senior, Hansen is racking up the Division I offers, including from Buffalo, Cal Poly, St. John's, and Arizona State. Congratulations to this week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, Wauwatosa West boys basketball all-time leading scorer, Jake Hansen.
It's the perfect Valentine's heart.
The kind a schoolboy would draw.
It's the most adorable pendant we've ever created.
Innocent, fun-loving, and sweeter than honey.
Cute, cute, cute.
It's cherry red ceramic that's been through the fire.
We've been making ceramic jewelry for thousands of years.
Seriously?
Google it.
But this ceramic heart has things they didn't know about thousands of years ago.
Like what?
Diamonds. 18 of them.
These created diamonds were made for the one who sparkles like the sun.
I can see her in my mind right now.
It's the perfect Valentine's gift.
And it's only $128 at Kessler's.
Monica, what else do we have?
We have 4 different ways to say I love you.
Each pendant is a different shape covered in diamonds.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
An oval.
A square with rounded corners.
A teardrop.
And a heart.
Your choice, just $148 at Kessler's. For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, protection and income are the keys to success. Simply put, if you're nearing or in retirement, you can't afford a stock market crash. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game film was a key to success. Now I'm a best-selling author and star in a new groundbreaking documentary film called The Retirement Deception. It unveils how the Wall Street machine has been deceiving us for decades and proves you don't need to risk your nest egg in the market to have the retirement you deserve. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. I want you to watch this film for free. Call today for your free copy of The Retirement Deception. I think you would agree 30 to 40 years of saving for retirement is at least worth a phone call to watch this film and see how you can improve your retirement. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free copy of The Retirement Deception. Call 855-620-1801. That's 855-620-1801. MitchLyonsWealth.com. Your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. The Army National Guard responds to disasters such as wildfires and floods. They protect us with missile defense, cybersecurity, and civilian support teams for chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. Be there for your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
All these lies, they can't blind me. With your love, nobody can drag me down.
Let's make the Green Bay Packers Super Bowl caliber, eh? Ben Brust, Kyle Wallace, Brad Nortman, Strophy running the show, 800-990-3776. It is day 3 of giving 5 wishes from my beautiful brain as to how the Packers can become championship caliber. Wish 1, spin the block with Tay. Wish 2, trade one of your first-round picks for a proven pass rusher. Wish 3, come up next.
And now, another look at Ben Brust's off-season wish list. Wish number 3.
Hey, Brad.
Hey, Ben.
You remember being a special teamer in the NFL?
Oh, sure do.
It may not feel like you were appreciated as enough as you should have been.
Fact.
But when I learned to appreciate special teams was when I had to watch the Green Bay Packers roll out a bunch of bums out there to kick field goals.
Narv dog.
Anders Carlson, Narv dog, Narv pup. I'm so sick of going through that carousel of trying to find somebody. The right thing to do is to re-sign Brandon McManus. At no point, even if with the missed field goal against the Philadelphia Eagles in the wild card, misses are going to happen. But at no point after the first couple games when it felt like he was underneath him, did I get nervous when he kicked an extra point, when he kicked a field goal. I was confident. I don't want to go back to the days of having a tight sphincter, sitting there being like, ugh, please go in. Please make it. Kyle, how much did you hate watching the Packers kickers kick?
It was a strong hate, I would say. A lot of frustration watching it.
How much more relieved were you when Brandon McManus was out there?
When he missed it, I was shocked.
Exactly.
I was shocked when they made it.
That should be what you strive to have in a position in which you see the value continue to grow. It was the most 50-yard field goals in the history, 50-yard plus in the history of the NFL again. The Packers were the second to last team this past season to hit a 50-yard field goal because it took a little bit long to get a guy who was actually capable of doing it. Re-sign Brandon McManus. It may be boring, but it is necessary. Do you like that, Brad?
Oh, I love this one. This might be my favorite one yet. Here's the reality, boys. You just don't know how important something is until you figure out that it's not very easy to replace. And that includes the kicker in the NFL. You think, oh, we can just go find anybody, just fill them in there, and we're going to be okay. Well, the Packers learned the hard way. You can't just plug and play when it comes to kicker. Real games are won and lost at the foot of the kicker of the NFL. Whether you like it or not, that's the reality of the NFL. So when you kind of experience what life is like with an unreliable kicker, you never appreciate more having a steady, consistent kicker, and that's exactly what Brandon McManus is.
And I think the key thing that you just talked about there, Brad, you can't make up for the deficiencies of a kicker, of a punter, right? Like other positions, sometimes you got a linebacker that may be a weak spot. You can make up for those deficiencies because you have 10 other guys on the football field that can support, you can come together as a team. When it comes to the field goal kicker, there is one guy that everybody's looking at, and that's Brandon McManus. That's Anders Carlson. That's Braden Narvison. Was. When it comes to punters, same thing. If a punter shanks a punt, ain't nobody going to be pointing at the long snapper. I mean, unless it's a bad snap. Or they're not going to be pointing at the protection guy. What is it called again?
Personal protector.
Personal protector. For personal protector, they're going to be looking at the punter. You cannot hide deficiencies of these.
Personal protector. They need a new name for that.
Personal protector.
Punters aren't that valuable.
They're very valuable.
Secret Service
needs one of those.
And so overall, I think, Ben, you're on to this.
I can handle myself.
If the Packers are looking to have a sense of urgency, the sense of urgency is re-signing Brandon McManus, maybe finding another guy that you had bring in for competition potentially to see if he has something. So
I mean, as you've mentioned, even if you are a veteran, and at this point in McManus' career, he had some time off, he had a good season, but I still would be in favor of bringing somebody in to challenge him, make him continue to earn the job.
For sure. You share reps, it allows him to save his leg longer, and everyone appreciates the fact that someone can go out there and earn the job as opposed to just being given the job.
Real quick on that, that's not abnormal, right? Even because I remember a couple of years Crosby had competition, even though it was kind of a surefire thing, he'd be back. Did you ever have competition in terms of just for training camp or the preseason to save your leg a little bit?
Most years, and honestly too. It was only my rookie
good enough
year.
They wouldn't have brought anyone in.
Yes, well, it was only my rookie year where it was like a true competition where I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to make the team opening day. But all the rest of them, you still brought in undrafted rookies, guys to push you, guys to share reps so you don't blow out your leg and get too tired early in the season so you can't punt in January. So there's a lot of benefits to it and just pushing guys further.
It just lights a little fire under you. Now, real quick, Brad, quick trivia question.
Two real quicks.
Two real quicks. What do you and Brandon McManus have in common?
Oh, Brandon both played for the Jags.
You both lived in
Duval.
Duval. Remember, these are wishes. These are wishes. This is Ben Bruss wish list for the Green Bay Packers. Wish number 1.
Wish number 1.
Spin the block and bring back Devontae Adams.
Wish number 2.
Bring a pass rusher in by utilizing a first-round pick that Goody doesn't even know how to use anyway.
Wish number 3.
Re-sign Brandon McManus. That is 3 wishes for 3 days. Wish number 4 will be coming tomorrow.
You know, these wishes, this wish list that you're doing, this is the most logical you've ever sounded on air. Like, everything you say makes sense. I'm surprised.
These have all been very good takes.
Yes.
He's actually got a point there.
We're back in 2 minutes with the brilliant Ben Brust.
All right, too far.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
I'm very familiar with Gruber Law offices because they're always out in the community.
Gruber Law offices are known to be honest, hardworking.
They're always involved in our neighborhoods.
Gruber Law offices make our community a better place.
They are the best. For nearly 40 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped people throughout Wisconsin. If you're injured, we're here to help. One call, that's all.
Wisconsin would not be the same without Gruber Law offices.
Hungry? Quick Trip's got you. Food's here, and it's hot and ready. Check out our appetizers, like crispy tornadoes, packed with bold fillings that'll keep you coming back for more. And experience Quick Trip Zesty Mini Tacos, bite-sized, big flavor, and totally irresistible. No dinner plans? Take home and bake a freshly made Cheese Mountain Pizza. So easy and delicious. Fuel up at your ultimate destination for snacks and meals that hit the spot. Only at Quick Trip.
Stop by Maddie's Bar and Grill this Thursday as Kyle Brust and Nortman will broadcast live starting at 2, compliments of Michelob Ultra. Spend Brust here. Come in for a late lunch or an early happy hour to see me, Kyle, and Brad at Maddie's. Also enjoy Michelob Ultra at Kelly's Bleachers, Big Bend, Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill, Brewski's Sports Pub and Barbecue, and Par Tea Time Golf and Sports Bar. We'll see you Thursday at Maddie's in New Berlin for a live KBN broadcast from 2 to 5 on 94.5 ESPN, brought to you by Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly.
Hey, this is Jen Latta. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This is Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN on ESPN Wisconsin. Here's Kyle Wallace, Ben Brust, and Brad Nortman.
Ben Brust, Kyle Wallace, Brad Nortman. You like that? Kyle Brust and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin.
What did you say?
Ben Brust, Kyle Wallace, Brad Nortman. I was trying to get in the vibe of the song.
Oh, you're trying to put yourself first?
I always do. Ben Brust, Kyle Wallace, Brad Nortman.
Oh.
Every single time.
Not the name of the show, but that's how he introduces it.
And then sometimes I'll say Kyle Brust and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin.
I guess that's the one I hear.
Yeah, well, he's Kyle's name first. He goes, oh, my name, hey, what up?
I will say that. We had a Kyle call in yesterday who beat you.
Wouldn't it be a better idea for the name of the show to be Kyle Nortman and Brust because Brad's always second?
Hey. KNB.
Hey.
It doesn't roll off the tongue.
Brust, Nortman, and Kyle.
K and B.
That would be
sounds like N. Sounds
BNK.
Like
We could have did KB squared.
Ben and Brad.
Ben and Brad.
Kyle and B squared.
Ben Brust is also B squared.
Hey, we could lose Nortman.
Ben cubed. It'd be B cubed.
Oh, wow. That would have sucked.
All right, so Xavier McKinney had something to say about a Green Bay Packer that is controversial. I simply would like to put this on Twitter at KBN ESPN. Is Quay Walker good? ? Because this audio is fascinating from Xavier McKinney talking about Quay Walker.
I think that I'm gonna say Quay Walker. I think he's a hell of a linebacker. and I think he does a lot of good things for our team. And really, I think he's one of the best linebackers in the league. Like, he could do a lot. Like, there's a lot of things that he can do that a lot of linebackers cannot do. And,
I hear what I just
heard. I think he's going to continue to keep getting better. I think he's going to continue to grow as a player. And, he's going to be, in the future, he's going to be the best linebacker in the league.
Record scratch. Anybody?
I mean, there's no way.
By the way, NFL player spotlight with Ari Myrov.
Yeah, and I believe that the question posed to him was like a generic open-end, not about Quay, but a generic open-end question about like, hey, who's someone on the team that should be in the spotlight going forward? And he just chose Quay. Of all the people he could choose, right? Edgerrin Cooper, Carrington Valentine, Evan Williams, Javon Bullard, right? So many young stars, and he chooses Quay Walker. This is a curious choice. It leads me to believe, Xavier, you can't actually be thinking this. You can't actually believe this to be true.
I love that you could go with Xavier.
Xavier, let's reason together. You can't actually believe this because we know Quay Walker. We even had Tausch say at this point, at what point do you know what kind of player that player is? Tausch said by year 3. I would even say halfway through your second year, you know what kind of player he is. So we know who Quay Walker is. He's an athletic freak, but he lacks awareness. He lacks the ability to certain read things and make, right pursuit angles. He doesn't do things to be the linebacker that Xavier McKinney is describing. So it leads me.
He said the best linebacker in the league.
Yeah, I don't know if they're buds. I don't know if he's trying to campaign for him getting that 5th-year extension. That option. I don't know what's going on. But when I heard this, I was met with shock and disbelief because I don't believe Xavier believes this when he says this. If he does, I start to question his own abilities to judge talent.
Yeah, contrary to belief, I think Quay got a rough go at it because of the push of the health person or the doctor that tried to train him, the trainer that came on the field. And
the health person.
Yeah, I think he got
the athletic trainer.
Thank you so much. But I believe that kind of tarnished the way some people look at him. But inside that locker room, it seems like a lot of people like him, right? It seems like everybody sees the talent. They see the speed.
Cares.
They see the power.
We've had 4 years. Yeah. 3 years of evidence.
I get it.
Yeah,
no,
3 years.
I get it. But
Tausch said yesterday, you are who you are after 3 years.
But I feel like he may be one of those guys that's a late bloomer, right? Where we look at
how late, Kyle.
He can't be a first-round pick and just be a late bloomer.
Because you're talking about, I have to look at what the 5th-year option is for a linebacker, but it's probably something like $15 million. No, you want to give him $15 million for a year?
And so that's my point. But when I look at a guy like Zach Bond that burst onto the scene, right? He's clearly a late bloomer. Quay Walker, and he wasn't a first-round pick, but Quay Walker, he may be a guy who switched to a new defense, so he thought he was going to be more adjusted, and then he got hurt this year, and he's still fighting it, right? People see that there's potential there. He just hasn't been able to put it all together. But my biggest issue with what Xavier had to say was a guy can't be next up, or a guy that we should be looking for can't be a guy that you believe is replaceable, right? Like, we look at Quay Walker, we're like, okay, he's okay. He has his flashes, he has his ups and his downs, but we could probably find somebody else to be more consistent than Quay Walker. So that's not a guy that you think is going to be next up. But when you think about Edgerrin Cooper, you're like, hey, we want him on the field. We need him to play. And so that's the difference. When you are replaceable, that's when you lose value to me. See, Edgerrin Cooper is finding in a place that he's irreplaceable. Evan Williams and Xavier McKinney, they're irreplaceable. Quay Walker's replaceable. It didn't feel like we missed a beat when it was Edgerrin Cooper, when it was Eric Wilson, and it was Isaiah McDuffie, right? We didn't say, when's Quay coming back? We need Quay. We're like, we'll be interested to see where he'll play. But when Edgerrin Cooper,
if anything, we were like, is that going to take snap share away from Edgerrin Cooper?
So that is a big problem. So that's why I can't say he's the next one up when you think he can be replaced.
800-990-3776 on Twitter. Is Quay Walker good? Because Xavier McKinney said he might be one of the best NFL linebackers in the league.
Where does Quay Walker rank if you were just to rank all the Green Bay Packer defenders? Is he in the top 10? Is he in the top 10?
He's probably
late. Yeah, he's probably late.
McKinney, Cooper, Williams.
Can you include Jair Alexander?
Can I put Carrington ahead of him?
I put Carrington ahead of him.
I mean, would you put Rashawn Gary still ahead of him?
Clark goes ahead of him. We're at 7.
Yeah, again, that's not good.
No.
I mean, Isaiah McDuffie for me is
He's consistent.
Yeah, he was more consistent. He doesn't have the upside, but Isaiah McDuffie made plays for us, right?
I tell you what, when we start listing off the guys on the defense, part of me wants to, I know I just got after Tausche a little bit for saying, the defense was good enough to win. Yes, they were good enough to win against the Eagles, but holistically, they still have holes. I think Jeff Hafley is really, really good. Because when you list off those names and you see what they will do, points per game, stopping the run, pretty damn good.
Well, I'd say the most valuable player on that defense behind McKinney is Jeff Hafley. The only time that this defense got pressure is when he implemented elaborate blitz schemes. And when he did, it was pretty beautiful when he was able to do it. But he had to do it rushing 5 guys, sort of loops and twists and stunts and all these things to create pressure. So outside of Xavier McKinney, Jeff Hafley is your most valuable player, which led me to the question yesterday of, are you concerned that Jeff Hafley is getting jobs that might take him away? Because I think he is more valuable to this defense than most of the players are.
Yeah, I mean, he showed a lot of value because when you have a ragtag bunch that aren't great, you got to maximize what they can do. And I feel like as the season went on, he had to learn his personnel. He had to learn his talent. And that's where you saw in the playoffs, this team, he put them in a good position to be successful. And also, he gave them the level of confidence to be successful. The Packers went into that game against the Eagles, who have 2 great wide receivers, without having their top corner in Jair Alexander. Well, you take away that big running catch by Dallas Goedert where he stiff-armed our boy Carrington Valentine, I mean, it's an even more closely matched game.
And as Craig chimes in here, 800-990-3776 on the Carbless Talk and Text line, I really want to see one season of Quay, Cooper, and Hopper.
And that's an athletic lineman trio.
But my point is, it is year 4. I don't want to learn what Quay Walker can be as a complement. He was drafted.
That's okay, though.
But here's the thing.
Is it?
He's a first-round draft pick. $16 million will be his 5th year. So you need to make that decision before the season starts. That's where it becomes hard.
Yeah, $16 million is entirely too much. But I'm okay with a guy doesn't need to live. If they don't live up to the first-round draft pick, that's fine. He's not a game changer. He's not a stud. He's not an all-pro guy. But if a guy can be serviceable, right? If you're able to sign a solid linebacking core where guys can make plays, if Quay Walker, Edgerrin Cooper, and Tyron Hooper can go out there, Hopper can go out there and be a great unit together, I'm cool with that. If Quay is a above average player, but he helps us win, he isn't actually a negative when he's in a game, I'm good with that. You ain't got to get to your ceiling, but if you get somewhere in between where you're just a good NFL player, I'll take it.
I hope they draft a guy named Tyron Cooper Hooper Hopper.
Walker.
That was good, Kyle.
Thank you.
Nailed it. So Tone chimes in. Quay led the team in tackles, right? So how bad can he be? Clearly he has a strong and fast. He's strong and fast. He's just got to get better at decision making. Again, I know he's strong. I know he's fast. We know he's athletic. That is why Goody drafted him. But you don't draft someone to just be strong and athletic. You need to draft somebody to produce at a high level when you draft an inside linebacker in the first round of the NFL draft. We're having too many conversations of trying to justify whether or not a draft pick is really good or just good. They need to start being really good because we're looking around the league and we're seeing guys that are drafted being really good and making impacts that we're not questioning.
Well, and the reality is, middle linebackers will usually, no matter what team you're on, middle linebackers will usually be the guy that leads your team in tackles because the defenses are designed to free up the linebacker in rush situations, in run situations. So most often than not, linebackers will be your leading tackler. He was making tackles mostly like 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That's the problem. He wasn't cutting the gap. He wasn't making.
No, he was cutting the gap. He just was in the wrong gap or going right by the ball carrier.
Wasn't making the play.
Yeah, I mean, as Greg in the 262 chimes in, all Goody does is draft, as Kyle said earlier, late bloomers and development projects. And again, I want to be done having conversations deciding if they're good or good enough.
Yeah, that text from Greg triggered this question for you guys, because I think my answer is yes. No matter what Goody does in the first round this year, will you have doubts?
Of course.
No.
100%.
No. Because if it's a guy who's a name brand stud, I'll say, okay, this guy's ready to play.
What do you mean a name brand stud? They're picking
at 23?
there should be guys at 23
Oh,
that were like.
we wish. If there were guys at 23, we already have studs.
Lucas Van Ness was drafted 13th. I've lost all faith since then.
Yeah, but he was a backup on Iowa. If it's a guy who, for instance, I don't know.
But he still chose to take him.
I know,
it was
that's the
his
problem.
decision.
But he said, if any pick will you have me out with doubts? I don't know college football much outside the Badgers, but let's just say it's a starting cornerback for Ohio State, and he started for 3 years.
Or Notre Dame.
I'd say, okay, like that sounds like someone that's ready to play in the NFL to me.
I'm so glad he didn't say Georgia.
I couldn't do it.
Oh, no. I wonder what the odds are at Potawatomi Casino Hotel for Goody to draft a player that played at Georgia.
Plus 200?
Plus 1,000. No, minus 200.
Right.
Yeah, you got to lay some money on that one. But as Homer once said, everyone needs Botox. I love that line.
Homer's right. I mean, you never know. Even me, look, I'm 35 years old, but you see these lines on my forehead right here. Even Lexi said, ooh, you got to start taking care of your face a little bit. She said, you got to go to Quintessa. I said, that's right, baby. That's the only place I go when I'm looking to feel good inside and out. That's because Quintessa Aesthetic Center. I go to the Brookfield location, work with Jess. She is awesome. They're going to meet you exactly where you are, trying to figure out how you want to get to the person you want to be. And for me, I wanted to make sure that my internal body was running perfectly. So I got loaded up on supplements, and they put me on a personalized plan to do that. But for you, it could be anything. It could be Botox, like Homer said. Homer said everyone should have Botox. If you're going to go Botox, go to Quintessa. Could be skincare, could be IV therapy, hormone therapy, supplements, infrared sauna. They have so much in their toolkit to help you feel your best inside and out. You're going to feel energized, confident, ready to take on everything 2025 has to offer. And now, between today and March 31st, Quintessa is offering special New Year's packages to help kickstart your year in the right way. So it's time that you finally look at yourself. You invest in everything, right? You invest in your home, you invest in all these things. You need to invest in your health. That is the thing that is primary to who you are, is investing in your health. And investing in your health means visiting Quintessa. They'll make it simple, effective, and tailored to you. Visit myquintessa.com today and take the first step forward to a confident, revitalized you.
I can't wait to get a lot of answers to our questions today, because a lot of comments coming in on the Carbless Talking text line and on YouTube in regards to Quay Walker. Rob Domofsky joining us from his home at 3:30. But as part of what we do with Rob Domofsky is he's got to figure out if Brad has a good idea and hear Brad out. Coming up next.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman.
These hands are not made for fixing anything in a house. I'll make a phone call, and I'm cheap, but I ain't that cheap. I got my guys. Got my handyman. Shout out to Chris. Under the table.
Just like that, dude's getting audited now.
Yeah.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Starting off with a pretty quiet ride around the area. Just got some delays along 41 southbound past Hampton and again past Capitol Drive. We have also on northbound Highway 100, they still have those 2 right lanes blocked at Oklahoma Avenue. If you'll remember yesterday, they had to do some repairs to a water main break that broke there. So they're working on that to try and get that cleared out of the way. Traffic is brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. And checking the TMJ for Storm Team forecast tonight, partly cloudy skies, mild with a low of 28. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, breezy, very mild, a high of 52. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
What happens when you mix a 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year with a Packers Hall of Famer?
I'm not going to get into the Kringle turnover game, so that's what it needs to be.
Kringle
I think his legs. Yeah.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Like the pastry. Are you guys being serious? You guys can't put 2 and 2
I got it. I did not get it.
They don't call themselves Racine Danish turnover. Sorry. Sometimes I wonder about you two, man.
Catch him from 9 to noon right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Men's wedding bands made from whiskey barrels and meteorites.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Looking for the most popular answer. What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. Yay! It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside, with inviting doors to let friends and family in and beautiful energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
Guys, let's talk about something important. That's you. Hey, it's Brad Nortman. Taking care of your health and appearance isn't just about looking good. It's about feeling strong, confident, and ready to take on the world. At Quintessa Aesthetic Center, they make it easy. With experts in advanced skincare, body contouring, and anti-aging treatments, Quintessa's here to help you stay sharp and at your best. Trust me, when you look good, you feel even better. So why wait? Visit myquintessa.com and take the first step toward a more confident you.
UW Credit Union presents the Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org. Here's Ashton Rotman with the UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
This week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week is senior Jake Hansen from Wauwatosa West. A starting guard on the Trojans basketball squad, Hansen now sits alone at the top of the record books for Tosa West. His 18 points in a recent game, making him the #1 all-time leading scorer in Tosa West history. While the Trojans remain embattled in a race for the top of the Greater Metro Conference title race, Hansen, of course, is a big piece to making that happen. As for what's next for the senior, Hansen is racking up the Division I offers, including from Buffalo, Cal Poly, St. John's, and Arizona State. Congratulations to this week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, Wauwatosa West boys basketball all-time leading scorer, Jake Hansen.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Let's go crazy, crazy, crazy till we see the sun. I know we
Quickly, before we go to hear Brad out on the Carbless Talking text line, 800-990-3776 is my delusional brother who lives in the Chicagoland area. It is Jonathan Brust.
Hey, Kyle, Brad, I love you guys, and I really hope that you made the cut, and I see you at the wedding. Okay?
Thank you, JB.
I got some beef with you.
Okay.
Ben, you are a fraud, okay? I had just caught up on the past few days on my flights. Friday, your pizza buying for the office was for Greg. Greg bought it, not you.
Correct, yes.
You still owe that intern lunch.
I do owe that intern lunch for cooling her.
I know Kyle called you out on it, but I'm going to call you out on air. Buy her lunch for being such a jerk.
Are you, hang on, real quick, JB, am I going to see you at my daughter's first birthday party? Yeah, that's what I thought. See you later.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Whoa, what's
Okay,
going on
then.
here? What's happening with the Brust family?
what's
We got
going on?
some drama.
He's got other priorities than
Wow.
supporting. You know what's funny about Jonathan Brust?
What's funny
When
about
we get
Jonathan
together for Thanksgiving and Christmas, we drive from the Milwaukee area to my dad's, about an hour south of here. And then when we get out of the car, Jonathan runs out of the house to go get my daughter to act like he's like the best uncle ever and like be the hero. But yet, when we invite all of her family who's driving from St. Louis and Kansas City to all meet in Milwaukee area to have a celebration for my daughter, Jonathan Brust, MIA. Let's hear Brad out.
They say punters are people too.
Punters are worthy of breaking news.
No, really, that's what they say.
Raising awareness everywhere that punters are people too.
Okay, let's go to it. Time to hear from the punter. Time to hear Brad out.
All right, guys. I believe strongly in this one. It's time as a society that we bring back cursive. It's time. Listen, there's so many reasons to bring back cursive. Ben, this is your Brad.
You lost it pretty quickly.
You lost everybody.
Hear me out, okay? This is here Brad out.
Even Kyle's knowing you.
Listen, we need to bring back cursive as a society. Here's why. First of all, Guys, it's beautiful. Have you ever seen cursive written out? It is absolutely beautiful script. I'm not just talking about writing with our hands. I want emails written in cursive. I want papers written in cursive. I want everything written in cursive. Kyle's face is upset. I want everything written in cursive. It's beautiful. It's better than the ugly block letters that we have. It looks beautiful. It's more consistent. Everyone's will look more similar. You see the range by which people will use normal block letters with? It's ridiculous. Not only that, guys, it's more efficient. Did you know that cursive was written in such a way that you never have to bring your pencil or pen up off the paper? That's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. All letters roll into each other that you never even have to bring your pencil off the paper. It's efficient, it's beautiful, and honestly, too, it's bound to make us smarter as a society. Have you ever, read letters from the 1700s, the Declaration of Independence? Those are all in cursive. You see the word choice, the vocabulary.
You think they were smart? You think they were smart in their horse and buggies?
They were.
You think they were smart in their dark
Did you read the
candles?
vocabulary that they use versus?
Did you see the technology they didn't have?
Yeah,
We're advanced.
We have devolved when it comes to vocabulary and language.
800-990-3776. We will finish. We will finish. I just want to get people already responding to this horrible idea. 800-990-3776. As I didn't even need to put the Carbless Talking text line because there was already 4 people saying, "What the hell is this?"
It's going to sophisticate and distinguish our culture. Think about in 300 years. In 300 years, they're going to look back in the history books. They're going to look at our block letters, our gross, disgusting block letters. They're going to compare that to all the beautiful cursive written back in the day. And they're going to say, back in 2025, were they full of a bunch of idiots? There were all these sloppy letters and sloppy block letters. The cursive. Now, those people, they sure look dialed in and distinguished. We look sloppy and unkept. It's time that we introduce and we as a society bring back cursive. It'll be to everyone's benefit. Thank you very much, KBN Nation. I'll wait for the applause.
Okay.
No, don't do that. Nobody's applauding that.
Unfortunately,
bring back cursive.
Bring back the booze.
Petey chimes in the 262 in the Carbless Talking text line. Yeah, we should bring back finger painting too. Paul Milwaukee, WTF is Brad talking about?
All right.
Stevie, love it, Brad. I'm a first grade teacher in MPS. I absolutely agree. Thank you, Brad. It's easier for them to focus.
There we go.
Justin the 262 on the Carbless Talking text line. Do we grade these Brad segments? Because this one is an F. I don't need an English lesson, Brad.
Yeah.
Brad just became my favorite person from Jake.
I love the range of responses. Cursive is very polarized.
Kevin, as a teacher, not cursive, but we need to bring back typing classes. I agree with that. In the workplace, when I watch some people type, I want to actually make them do the course where they have to have the blindfold over their fingers and see if they actually know where the buttons are.
Why is that?
Corey, I bet Brad wants to bring back ink and quill too.
Oh,
now that is an idea.
That is a beautiful
Chef Ed, 800-990-3776. Come on, Brad. Are we trying to be Shakespeare?
Shakespeare was brilliant.
Shakespeare
was brilliant. We should be so lucky to be as brilliant as Shakespeare. He wrote in cursive too.
Yeah, this is.
What do you guys
in 300 years, Ryan makes a good point. Nothing will actually be written.
That's true. It'll all be downloaded.
It's cool.
It's cursive.
It's useless. It's useless.
Why? It's beautiful.
Yeah, cool. It's beautiful, but it's useless. It's a lost art that you don't need. You don't need to have it, man. And matter of fact, those letters in cursive, you can barely read them.
Please grade this here, Brad, out. 800-990-3776.
It sucked.
I feel like I just wasted 10 minutes of my life that I'll never get back by Brad telling me we need to bring back cursive on a sports radio talk show across ESPN Wisconsin with great fans and listeners that tune in for us to be entertained and talk about sports, and that was not entertaining. It took me back to school, and I don't want to go back to school.
This is what an undistinguished, unsophisticated person, that's how they would react. Of course they wouldn't want cursive.
Do you write in cursive?
I'm going to start.
Practice what you preach.
This is a declaration. I want us all to do it.
You know what I hate about cursive the most is that I have people in my life that do cursive and print at the same time. So when I'm trying to read,
they mix it up.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell is this? My mom tried to write me a note when I was a kid. I was like, Mom, I can't read.
Take the cursive.
My
it's
girl
beautiful.
now, no, I can't.
Let's all write cursive for a day and see how we feel.
My girl had.
It takes longer, even
That's because it's taken. You've been so long since you did it. You got to get back in the groove.
My girl had love letters that her grandfather wrote to her grandmother. It was in cursive, and I said, "Baby, you need to read this to me. I can't. What does this say?"
TJ chimes in the 262. The founding fathers were so distinguished with their horse and cow teeth.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, but have you read their letter? Their vocabulary was expansive.
I'd rather not have an expansive vocabulary, but actually have good hygiene. Be able to hop in my nice
It's
car
not
and go
their
home.
fault that
and have
they
my
were
heat.
born
No, it
then.
is. They were dumb. That's what it was. They weren't smart enough to advance
Ben, don't let
technology.
them talk about your lineage that way.
Yeah.
No, they can't.
I thought you would defend
hell
John
no.
Adams.
No.
A very distinguished
Here's the
orator.
thing is, our handwriting is ugly nowadays.
Very.
And there are times there are times when I write notes and I look back, I'm like, I don't even know what this says. But imagine if I was trying to take notes in cursive and I tried to go fast, it would just look like a bunch of scribbles and squibbles, and I won't know what that says either. This is
I think it's my best takes yet.
like I feel like I'm actually angry. Like, this is the first time I've been actually angry to hear Brad out.
It was bad.
Like anxious and squirrely all of a sudden.
Because it's such a this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. This is like, of 7 years of doing radio for Good Karma Brands in ESPN Wisconsin, this is the worst 10 minutes I've ever heard in my entire life from somebody bringing an idea.
Yeah, Brad, you knew this was bad.
No,
you're a troll.
No,
You are now trolling your own segment. Your segment is called Hear Brad Out. Don't troll on your own segment.
These are all my children. I love my children. This is a great idea. I'm going to start writing cursive.
What triggered this?
You
I
should
just need
too.
to know. What triggered
Yeah, what did trigger this?
I literally saw somebody not long ago writing in cursive, and I said, that is the most beautiful handwriting I've ever seen. And I looked at my ugly, disgusting block handwriting and said, I need to change, and society needs to change with me. That includes you three, and that includes KBN Nation.
And that is true, Justin, on the Carbless Talking text line. We are calling people undistinguished, and that is a little bit hypocritical. Brad also just came up with an idea that we all need to do cursive, and he doesn't even practice what he preaches.
I'm going to start. Starting now.
Z and the D, you want to defend Brad? Go ahead.
Come on, Z.
Here comes Z. What wacky stuff he gonna say? Wrong show, buddy. Ain't the show. This is Kyle Bruston.
Hey,
Norton.
let him talk.
Hey, Kyle.
Let him talk.
But me and Z are still
Kyle,
beefing from a month ago.
Respect. Well, pay your fees. Respect your elders. Respect it. Because without the show before this, there is no this show. But also, on the side note, yes, because I don't want to get an autograph that says BB1, Ben Bruss 1. I want an autograph that has his actual name in cursive. Otherwise,
all right, Z and the D. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. I got to stop you here.
Good point, Z.
Signatures aren't cursive; they're scribbles. Nobody can read signatures.
No, interesting point. Last time we heard Z and the D, we were at this sports car place.
Yeah, Brewtown Training Club.
That's where you lost your job.
And remember, that's where I lost my job. That's true. There was a Bart Starr signature. Look at Bart Starr's autograph. It's in cursive. I said, that is the most beautiful autograph I've ever seen.
Rob Domofsky of ESPN, save us.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN.
I said, baby, we got to do more sucking. And so I called the company. I said, listen, y'all put this thing in here. Y'all need to come on.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Westbound 94 is tightening up just a bit through the stadium interchange. We're seeing delays along southbound 41 as well between Hampton and Burleigh. We've also got a few taps on the brakes on southbound 43, basically from about Burleigh all the way down towards North Avenue. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast tonight, partly cloudy, mild, a low of 28. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, breezy, very mild, a high of 52. Weather is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank, custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Walsh for Universal Windows Direct. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. There is no limit and no payments for 3 whole years. Restrictions apply. If you already have a price quote, they'll beat it. Schedule your free in-home estimate today.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. so Windows Direct.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman.
I couldn't have been more wrong about this job. I thought it was a decent job considering a soft division, and you had stability when it comes to your front office and ownership, and apparently that's not the case. It's not. And it sounds like Mickey Loomis is more of a deterrent than he is an asset in trying to recruit the next head coach, which has got to be a maddening place to be in if you're ownership, because you have a relationship with him where you trust him, right? And he's involved with not just what's going on with the Saints, but what's also going on with the Pelicans. So
is that a good thing?
No, but I mean, this is somebody that is intertwined in your business operations with multiple sports franchises. And so if you're looking to hire a head coach and the prospective candidates are saying that they're not excited about being able to work with Mickey Loomis, then if you're Gail Benson, you got a problem.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Bold, bald, beautiful. ESPN NFL Nation reporter Rob Domofsky on Kyle Brust and Nortman.
Ben Brust, Kyle Wallace, Brad Nortman with Alex Strofe on the show. Hopefully everyone had a good breather right there, because my blood pressure was boiling after they hear Brad out. Hodak Steve is very disappointed because he loves the show and didn't tune in to hear Brad out in that horrible waste of 10 minutes. I said rumors from content director Brian D. They are contemplating suspension for the horrible 10 minutes of radio that everyone had to endure. But we now are joined by someone with knowledge, the bold, the bald, the beautiful, Rob Domofsky. What's up, Rob?
Ben, how are you?
I'm doing well. You know what? This won't take long. Go ahead, Brad.
Let's not forget the brilliant Rob Domofsky. He's going to think this idea is brilliant because he's sophisticated and distinguished too. Rob, listen to this take. Society needs to return to cursive writing. I'm talking typed and written. It's a beautiful script, better than our ugly block letters that we use right now. It's more efficient. It's made so that you do it and you don't have to pick your pen or your pencil up off the paper. I feel like it's going to make us smarter. In the 1700s, everything was written in cursive. See the Declaration of Independence? Written in cursive. It's a beautiful piece of history. They're going to look back in 300 years and say, why in 2025 did everyone have such ugly handwriting? We got to return to cursive writing, make our culture sophisticated and distinguished once again. What do you say, Rob? You with me? Make cursive great again?
You got his audio?
Did we lose him?
No, we're trying to get him. There we go. We got you, Rob. Go ahead.
What do you think about cursive?
Well, Brad, I feel like were you in my house over the weekend? Like, were you here in my home?
No.
Because I don't know if you can see this, my phone. It's probably a terrible picture. But my kid is signing an autograph after the De Pere basketball game the other night. And his handwriting is terrible. Like, terrible.
Cool.
Like, these little kids want his autograph. These little fans, these little future Redbirds. asking him to sign things. And he said, literally the words came out of his mouth, I don't know how to write in cursive.
The travesty, Rob.
Cursive. Just so you can sign an autograph. I think it was Arnold Palmer, the golfer, always said to younger players that were coming up, make sure when you sign an autograph, you make it legible so people can remember you. I'm all in with this, Brad.
Yes, Rob.
I am with you. That happened in my house. I believe it was Friday night. We talked about this.
Did they stop?
Wait, you're telling me at your household on a Friday night you're giving lectures to your family about learning cursive? Sign me up for being a Domofsky.
It was after several drinks after the basketball game by the adults, and then the kid comes home, and we ask him about the signing of the autograph, and I was giving him a hard time. I overheard him say to the little kid, "Sorry, I don't know how to write in cursive."
That's not only route.
What kind of role model is that?
I'm kind of with Rob from the standpoint of
rousing conversation.
I would, in my notebooks in high school, because I didn't pay attention, just practice my autograph.
Time out.
That's no surprise.
In high school, you do that now.
I still do that.
That does not surprise me one bit.
I'm sure it doesn't, Rob.
Add brilliant to the bold, the bald, the beautiful, the brilliant Rob Domofsky.
When you were dating your now wife, I'm guessing she was probably practicing writing her name with your last name. That's
of course she was. And you only do that in cursive.
Yeah, I just think that's a failure on the De Pere School District, not on society. I think I just think they should have just been better teaching them in the third grade to write cursive.
Rob, we have so much to discuss because I am fascinated by some things that I've been hearing. And we put out a poll, like, which is more championship caliber right now, the offense or the defense? And the defense, I get why they're getting votes. But my philosophy here is I'm listening to Wilde and Tausch say, the D did a good enough job to, help them win against Philly. No disagreements here. I know they did a phenomenal job against Philly. But also, Jason Wilde, the teams that are making it further are the teams that are making the least amount of mistakes. You know what we knew through 17 games? That they had dropped passes, they had penalties. Against the 5 teams that were better than them in record, they gave up around 29.5 points per game. Yeah. So, yes, did they do a good job against Philly? But we all know there's holes, and we all know, even though that Philly is now going strong on offense, there's no way that I can sit here and say that I would feel confident that the defense would be able to get them to a Super Bowl this year.
No, they weren't. Neither side was good enough to get them to a Super Bowl. That said, I think there are reasons to think both sides could be such. I mean, I really do. Like, they fired the defensive line coach because their pass rush stunk. Like, if they can get a consistent pass rush, then I think the defense elevates another step. I don't think they're that far away. Yes, they need another cornerback. I get it. Offensively, I mean, they had that stretch this year where they scored 30 points in, 4 or 5 straight games. We talked about this on, I can't remember which show it was we talked about. Maybe it was your show. I don't remember. But do you know when the last time the Chiefs scored 30 or more points was? It was November of 2023. Like, you don't have to score 30 points. 28 straight games the Chiefs have gone without scoring 30. You don't have to necessarily outscore people.
I did not know that stat, and it is impressive.
That's from our ESPN research people. I was rolling through the weekly file that they send out.
Do they write in cursive when they send you those?
They're smart.
Well done.
Hey, Rob, you wrote an awesome...
Oh, hey, Rob.
Hey, Rob, again, great take on cursive. Really wonderful take. You wrote another great thing that you did was write that article about Brian Gutekunst that came out, I believe, yesterday on ESPN.com, KBN Nation. If you haven't read it, go read it. It's unbelievable. So you talked about how someone kind of said that, Goody's operating in this 3 to 5 year plan, and we're upcoming on year 3. And I simultaneously looked at yesterday the ages by which quarterbacks win Super Bowls. Generally speaking, it's 26 to 31, and most of the time it's 27, 28, 29, 30. Because of that, because Jordan Love's turning 27, he's not as young as I thought he was, because he's turning 27 next season, and because Goody has this 3 to 5 year plan that's supposed to be peaking now. Do you think that the next handful of years are the most important years of Jordan Love's career to get that Super Bowl win, or do you look at it and say, He's still young. He's going to be the Packers quarterback for 10 years. So there's real no like stress to get one over the next couple of years. Maybe 3 years.
I think the window that has to be taken advantage of is the next 2 years. And that's the Jaden Reed draft class, right? Like those guys, that draft class has 2 more years, right? And by then they'll probably they will have had to make a decision on, Romeo Dobbs. But the 2023 draft class was when Brian Gutekunst said after that draft, and I use this quote in the story, about building a team that can grow together around Jordan Love. And he said that's kind of the idea, right? So that draft class, Lucas Van Ness, Luke Musgrave, Jaden Reed, Tucker Kraft, Colby Wooden, Sean Clifford, Dontavian Wicks, and on and on and on. Like that, when that draft class reaches free agency, like to me, that's the window. That's the immediate window. And that would be, 4 years of Jordan Love as a starter. And I think that's the primary window.
Wait. So let me just hear that correctly. Are you telling me, because you said year 4, so what is year 3 then? So what is next season?
Yeah, what is next season? The Packer backer Kyle wants to know what he's rooting for next year.
I don't necessarily mean they're skipping next year, but by the next 2 years, like in one of the next 2 years, like to me, their window is now wide open. Like from here on out, they have the opportunity to get to the Super Bowl. If they don't do it in that, then I think you're kind of, not that you're starting over, but then I think you've got some problems.
So what's the vibe around, because you did just some research for this, so what's the vibe around the NFL and with a lot of the scouts and GMs or assistant GMs? Is the vibe that the Green Bay Packers are going to make a couple big moves in the free agency this year to try to capitalize on this window?
So one of the scouts I talked to, he said, look, they struck gold with the 2 free agents they signed last year. You can't expect that to do that every year. But if they could get one more of those type of big impact guys, that scout thought they were right there with the rest of the good teams. I think the interesting thing that you look at, Kyle, and I'm glad you brought it up, like what do people around the league think? Because people around the league, in most cases, in probably 28 of the other cities, are envious of the way the Packers operate from a consistency standpoint. As a fan, that drives you nuts because you're not getting over the edge, right? Like you're not getting over the hump. But people in this league keep their jobs because they're part of winning organizations over and over. And so when you talk to people around the league that work for teams like Cleveland and Houston and Tennessee and Chicago, or wherever I talk to people, like they would kill to have what the Packers have. And that's why there's a lot of admiration for the way Brian Gutekunst and the Packers have done it. Now, from a fan standpoint, is that good enough to get you over the hump? I guess we'll see.
Yeah, as Rob Demovsky joins us here on Kyle Bruston Ortman across ESPN Wisconsin. Rob, Xavier McKinney joined a NFL player spotlight with Ari Miroff, and he talked about how Quay Walker has the potential to be one of the best linebackers in the league. When talking with Mark Tauscher yesterday, he says, you are who you are for the most part by year 3. I am sick of talking about first-round draft picks over the last 4 years from Goody, outside of Love, because there's been a couple in one draft specifically, in which we are debating if they should get a 5th-year option, i.e. Darnell Savage, i.e. Devontae Wyatt, and i.e. Quay Walker, in which we are simply asking, is Quay Walker good? We know he's athletic. We know he's strong, but that's why he was drafted, because of those. He's not making plays. So why should we trust this plan for the guy that is not hitting on these first-round picks, but you need those first-round picks to be dudes to help in this plan in those 3rd and 4th years?
No doubt. No, you're 100% right. That's an area that has been disappointing for him. Quay Walker specifically, though, Ben, like they can decide to decline the 5th-year option this spring and still have him for next year and buy themselves, another year to whether they want to invest in him long term. Now, to your point, though, is it going to get any better? It's a great question. And I would say by now, I would tend to agree with Tausch that he's good, not great. And you almost need great from that spot. So
a lot of his guys are good, not great. The team last year, good, not great.
100%. Yeah. And that's where they need to hit on a couple of those kind of players. If not, then you're going to go sign guys and free agents, and you better hit on those, which they have.
Rob, we appreciate the time. I'm still disappointed in the whole cursive conversation.
Brilliant, Rob. Brilliant.
Yeah. I think contractually, I was talking to Brian D about this, is I'm contractually obligated to appear through the Super Bowl, which I believe means next week is our last one. So we better have the tally for the Here Brad out.
He said,
but I love the way that you talk about us like we're transactional. You know, I'm obligated to join Kyle Brust-Nortman next week.
Rob, if you're ever bored on any Wednesday at 3:15, you know where to tune in. Feel free to text us or tweet us and give your take on it. Strove, what's our updated record? Today's a win.
Yep.
So what do we got?
He doesn't have it.
Oh, you're going to find out next week.
I got to know how much I got to bring it next week. Well, I know.
You got to bring it regardless.
This is the Super Bowl of Here Brad out next weekend.
Yeah. Oh, this is.
I didn't have cursive getting you a dub, so hopefully this is all in his head and he doesn't know what to bring.
What are the odds of that Demo and his kid had this conversation?
Wild.
A couple days ago. That's wild.
And I've had this Here Brad out in the hopper for probably 6 weeks.
You know,
cool.
I know our phones listen to us, but I didn't know Brad Nortman listens to me.
No, I'm listening, Rob.
Rob, have a great day, and we'll be seeing you on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee and at ESPN Madison, talking on these airwaves next week.
All right, we'll be seeing you.
Gina Della from Pella was in the flesh in our offices today, and she's going to come to my house on Monday when she's going to join Kyle Brust-Nortman on Monday. So we're going to be together as they're installing new windows and doors at my home. So Gina's already thinking not about like telling you just about all the great things, which she will do about Pella, but she's like, ooh, I can't wait to be there to see, you know, what's going on and how you act. And she's like literally thinking about me as a piece of content, which is amazing because that's my job. And she's using me already in the office as I can't wait to see what you're like and talk about your dummy behavior on the air. So 855-PELLA-WI, PellaWI.com. Tell them KBN sent you, and Gina will hook you up. Gina Dell from Pella, the absolute best. Just like Pella Windows and Doors in Wisconsin, it's the absolute best. Great stuff from Rob Domofsky. Listen back if you missed it. WisconsinOnDemand.com. Kyle Brust-Nortman continues next.
This is Kyle Brust-Nortman.
Is one of the things that your girlfriend gets upset with is you interrupting her like this?
Probably. I just complimented you. What the hell? Stroh feeds you something in your ear and you Ron Burgundy verbatim what he says? I set you up for something, you jerk.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Whether it's live or in podcast form, you've heard us on air with all of our shenanigans.
Gabe, I'm throwing some. Why are you throwing? I don't want.
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video.
By me, by the way. I hit that microphone like 4 out of 6 times on that.
Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss and see original digital content too. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this winter? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, protection and income are the keys to success. Simply put, if you're nearing or in retirement, you can't afford a stock market crash. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game film was a key to success. Now I'm a best-selling author and star in a new groundbreaking documentary film called The Retirement Deception. It unveils how the Wall Street machine has been deceiving us for decades and proves you don't need to risk your nest egg in the market to have the retirement you deserve. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. I want you to watch this film for free. Call today for your free copy of The Retirement Deception. I think you would agree 30 to 40 years of saving for retirement is at least worth a phone call to watch this film and see how you can improve your retirement. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free copy of The Retirement Deception. Call 855-620-1801. That's 855-620-1801. MitchLyonsWealth.com. Your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Bring in the new year at your local Milwaukee Metro Region Cunis Auto Group dealerships. If it's the new year, it's time for a new ride. So plan on driving into 2025 in style at a Cunis Auto Group dealership near you. Your Milwaukee Metro Region Cunis dealerships feature America's best-selling brands from both Buick and GMC, all at nearby locations in Oak Creek and Greenfield. During January, every remaining new 2024 vehicle plus thousands of select pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs are all being discount priced to sell. We've got to make immediate room for hundreds of incoming new 2025s, as well as hundreds of fresh trade-ins from the holiday season. We're paying top values on all trades, no matter what the mileage or condition. Don't forget to check out individual dealership websites for pre-owned vehicles super specials. Plus, January service specials on everything from oil changes, tires, and brakes. Ring in big New Year savings at your nearby Milwaukee Metro Region Cunis Auto Group dealerships, or shop online at shopcunis.com.
It's time for the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Wintrust. Get your Golden Eagles essentials by opening Marquette checking from Wintrust today.
Number 9 Marquette rallied from a 7-point halftime deficit to defeat Butler 78-69 at Hinkle Fieldhouse. Senior guard Stevie Mitchell scored a career-high 22 points on 9 of 14 shooting. He now has back-to-back 20-point games for the first time in his career.
On the right, stolen by Stevie Mitchell. He'll come the other way 3-on-3. Stevie Mitchell all the way to the basket. Hangs, shoots, and scores. He did it all, and Marquette with an 8.
Despite missing most of the second half in foul trouble, senior guard Cam Jones still scored 17 points to move into 4th place on the all-time scoring list, passing George Thompson. MU improves to 18-3 overall, 9-1 in Big East play, tied with St. John's. They return to action on Saturday when the team hosts number 25 UConn at Fiserv Forum on National Marquette Day.
This has been the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Wintrust, Wisconsin's bank, and the official bank of Marquette University. This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Easy, take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy.
Ben Brust, Kyle Wallace, Brad Nortman, Alex Strofe running the show. UKBN Nation at 800-990-3776. Why are you doing this?
Now this is some breaking news.
For those that have been avid listeners to ESPN Wisconsin, today is a sad day for me.
What happened?
Oh, no.
Everybody okay?
Wade Miley signed with the Cincinnati Reds.
Oh, no way!
Now Wade.
No way!
Spare Wade. Anyone
Gone
but Wade.
too soon.
I mean, he's not dead. And last time he went to the Reds, he came back!
Oh!
But that's why it's been a long day without you, my friend. But I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. This is me holding on to hope that history will repeat itself. The kid from outside Baton Rouge, Louisiana, now with his young son, Jeb Miley, who's going to be in the Brewers farm system in 2035. Wade Miley, you will forever hold a strong place in my heart for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Can we get one more for old time's sake, Ben?
One more for old time's sake. Wade Miley!
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Damn Sports Show next in Beaver Dam. Jim, Matt, and Molly in Madison. And we continue on Kyle Bruston Nortman right here on 94.5 ESPN. I love you, Wade Miley, in 2 minutes.